Hi everyone. So there are several corollaries to the mean value theorem, and you can read about them on in your text on page 386 to 387. But I wanted to do an example of this second corollary. So the second corollary says that if f and g are differentiable over the interval I, and f prime of x equals g prime of x for all x in that interval, then f of x equals g of x plus c for some constant c. So we're going to use that corollary to answer this question. So we have p of negative 6 equals negative 8, p of 0 equals negative 5, q of negative 6 equals negative 7, and p prime of x equals q prime of x on the interval from negative 6 to 0. We want to determine the value of q of 0. So I want you to see that we have that p prime of x equals q prime of x on the interval from negative 6 to 0, which is what this is saying here, which means that p of x equals q of x plus c for some constant c, according to that second corollary. So what we want to do is we want to use the information right here where p of negative 6 equals negative 8 and q of negative 6 equals negative 7 to figure out what that c is. And then we're going to apply that to figure out what q of 0 is. So we know here from this corollary that p of negative 6 will equal q of negative 6 plus some value c. And we're told that p of negative 6 equals negative 8 and q of negative 6 equals negative 7. If we add 7 to both sides, we get that constant value is negative 1 in this example. So now, using that information, we know that p of 0 is going to equal q of 0 plus the constant. We're told that p of 0 equals negative 5. We're looking for q of 0, and we just figured out what c is. It's negative 1. So if I add 1 to both sides, I will get that q of 0 equals 4.